What's going on, everybody? YL from RebelEars.com here again with another episode of YL's Weekly Recap. This week, we're going to jump right into it. It's been about 2 weeks since I gave you guys a recap. It has been a lot going on. I have been working nonstop. Going hard nonstop. So I have a lot to talk about today. Hopefully you guys are inspired by this episode as always. And let's get right into it. So the last thing I showed you guys, I did share a reel of me doing live sound for the artist Young Dro. Right, so this was the last home game that we had a couple weeks ago at the Atlanta Falcons stadium. Of course, you guys know I do the tailgating for all the home games. And this last home game was actually a performance by Young Dro, man. So super cool. I always talk about how Atlanta brings out our legends and the people that we love and we grew up on and still respect and ride out to this day. Atlanta does a great job of bringing those artists to the forefront. And the city does a great job in still showing them plenty of love. Great performance. One of my favorite ones so far. A lot of charisma and stage presence, man. Dro just a good character to be around. Really good energy. The crowd enjoyed him. It was a good show. So the last weekly recap I did about the Falcons, this was a few weeks ago, so forgive me. But I had mentioned that particular week was Veterans Day, and it wasn't. It was some other thing that they wore all white for. I got the schedules mixed up. So this particular Young Dro performance, that last home game, that was actually the game where they honored the veterans. So you'll see everybody in their Army fatigue gear. And then it was like that throughout the whole stadium. Of course, I was in the game. I went to go watch the game, and enjoyed it, man. It's always a great experience and great time doing live sound for the Falcons pregame turn up. All right, moving forward. Now, fast forward. In the last couple of weeks, I've done a few shows where, like I talk about sometimes, I'm not the guy actually running the sound. I might just be helping getting everything together. I might be in charge of making sure microphones and different things like that, the ClearCom. You have different jobs, right? So sometimes you're not always the guy, but you're the guy that's either helping the guy or the guy that's getting everything prepared for the guy. Right, so these last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of that. Did a really fun show. Did the show for Chick-fil-A, where I was basically just helping set up. We kind of babysat. They brought their own engineers out to kind of run our PA that we set up, and it was really cool. It was smooth, man. We chilled and ate free lunch and just enjoyed those couple of days. Of course, we were dealing with Nexo. They had like 5 different floors. It's like an office building. So we had a sub stack, 2 sub stacks, and 2 tops on each floor. So on each side of the floor, you'll have a speaker and a sub basically shooting across and hitting all of the 5 floors. And then in the main lobby, we had another whole PA and some outfields and some things going on that kind of stretched throughout that building. So that was fun. Enjoyed doing that. Right around that time, I got contacted from an artist. This was last week. So I got contacted from an artist that I've been working with for a while. I always work with him. He goes by the name of One Swayze. He records himself at home. I'm actually going to pull up on him, man, and try to give him some new recording templates and kind of build some vocal chains for him on his Apollo. But he records himself. He hit me up. He said, "Hey, Lee, it's time." As you guys know, I've been really focused on the live sound and going hard with the live sound for like the last month or so, I would say. So it's always exciting to get those repeat clientele, reoccurring clients to hit me out of nowhere and like, "Hey, man, I'm ready to make it happen." So I got a contact from Swayze and he told me, "Hey, I got 9 songs. It's time to drop a tape." That tape is coming out, I want to say the day before Thanksgiving. So, yeah. And in the process of getting this tape and having a very, very, very quick deadline to turn it around, I'm still working like crazy, man. I'm still doing a lot. So I get this last minute call to do live sound at a restaurant, and it was pretty dope. It was cool. It was a memorial service for this CEO that had passed away, and all his friends and clients and business partners and employees and family, and everybody just came to just kind of show him some love, and it was really, really heartfelt. I worked on the DM3. I only had 2 microphones. It was really simple, small setup. I only put a few of the speakers that I had to just shoot throughout the restaurant. So that was one gig I did. It was small. It was like a one and done type of deal where we got in early. I set it up by myself, ran the whole show, and broke it down later on that night. So, a lot of times we get those one and done shows. And those one and done shows to me are pretty decent because a lot of times they come with some type of overtime and some type of incentives to where you'll end up making more money in one day. So outside of that gig, after that gig, we've been preparing for this huge Delta gig. We did the Delta Chairman's Gala. Very, very, very huge. I was also the audio assist for this show. So I did not run audio for this show. I just helped kind of maintain microphones and IEM packs, and of course help with the setup and the breakdown. Huge, huge, huge show. As you can see, the tent that we were in the tent. It's kind of like runway. So basically they had all of the different people that were being honored walking down this red carpet runway. And then, of course, you can see we have speakers going, flying on truss in the ceiling. I think we had 7 speakers on each side. So the cool thing about these PS10s, we had Nexo PS10s, really smaller. They're smaller than the tops that I usually use, those PS15s that I put on poles usually. The PS10s we usually use as for what we did in this show, or we'll use that for like some type of front field and stuff like that. But the cool thing about the PS10s is you can put 4 on one channel on your amp rack. So we were able to daisy chain 4 of those together, and then we daisy chained the other 3 together. So we had 2 home runs and long runs on each side. A lot of cable management. It had to look really nice. You had to really hide the cable when you got a lot of people walking, a lot of moving parts. You really got to make sure that there's no cable showing and there's no cables accessible to be tripped over or anything like that. So having to go up in the tent and hide the cables and zip tie and just make it really, really nice and neat. It was 3 days, man. It took us 3 days to install it. It was really slow motion. Like I said, there was a lot of moving parts. You got a lot of different companies out there doing their part to make this thing work. They had an after party, and then they had, man, it was like 4 or 5 different sections that they had going on, and it was amazing. And I helped out inside the actual hangar 1, which is like the museum area where they got all these planes and different things like that. I helped set up speakers in there. You'll be able to see that we're putting bigger speakers. So these are those PS15s that I was talking about earlier. Those PS15 Nexo speakers, those are the ones that's going on these truss towers, as you can see. Those are bigger truss towers. And we had, I think, 7 or 8 of those to blast the room. And then they built this like 20, 30 foot platform, and the band was on top of that. And, it was really, really decent, nice lighting show, and everything came together. Really, really wonderful, wonderful gig. I think that was like, 4 or 5 gigs. That was like a 5-day gig. I had a couple, most gigs are between 2 to 5, 6 days. So, I might do 5 gigs in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? But that might be 9, 10 days off of work. And so I just gave you guys maybe about 4 or 5 different gigs that I did over the last couple weeks. And like I said before, we are tapping into this mixing. One Swayze, 4th quarter. He likes to drop a freestyle mixtape at the end of the year. So we dropping 4th quarter. It'll be available on all of those softer platforms like SoundCloud and different things like that. You guys make sure you stay tuned for that. I am in the process of mixing that. I'm actually about to be done with this video, and guess what I'm about to do? Got my computer up, laptop up. I'm finna get right back into the process of mixing, trying to get this tape done. I got 3 days to get this deadline done. So I hope you guys are inspired. This is, like I said, another quick video, just another recap. I know I wasn't able to go into a lot of detail because there's just so much been going on over the last couple weeks. But I have indeed still been doing my thing. And I'm going out of town soon to go do some audio. So stay tuned for that story and that vlog. And until next time, refuse to sound ordinary.